And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, health, nutrition, business brokerage, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate Hotline number in your phone. It's 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
670-7372. That's REQB. We want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to help you win, and we want to help you with over 80 different categories: CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, 7 or 8 different types of law that we cover on this show, lots of different trades, as well as health and recreation. So we want you to reach out, consumerqb.com. That's our website, blog site, a plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. Just submit the form. The email comes directly to me on the contact form there, and we're going to get you in touch with the right person on the show. All-star lineup. Let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors and business broker, expert contributor on the show.
Hey, Brandon, always welcome. Always glad to be here. Love being on this show and being able to educate everyone to know what is the best way to purchase a business or to sell a business.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good things happening in the real estate space. Business is hot. Business is booming. And Case Shiller's study just came out as well. Real estate's up the highest level in the last 5 years. So a lot of cool things happening in the real estate space. And also back in studio, Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine and blogger and a ghostwriter. Welcome in.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. I look forward to sharing with everyone some new things about blogging and ghostwriting that you might not have thought about before.
Yeah, I love it. We're working together on our 3rd book now.
Yay.
Real excited to keep stacking those goals and getting another book closer and closer each week. We're working, set aside a little time, and we're working on that next book. And real excited about changing some lives. We want to help people live a better life and be a resource for them. And also in studio, Dr. Jenny Wilkins. She's the owner of AgeVital Pharmacy, Research and Wellness. Welcome back in, Jenny.
Thank you for having me, Brandon. It's always great to be here.
My pleasure. Absolutely. What are we going to talk about today?
I want to talk about synthetic hormones and bioidentical hormones, the myths, the facts, how to test, and, the clinical applications in our bodies. What is the role of hormone therapy, and why is it important to test for it?
Yeah, that's a lot of good stuff, and real excited about the content today. It's going to be an all-star lineup for you here, and helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of the show. We're giving a big shout-out as well to our official hotel partner, Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, and beautiful St. Pete Beach. Now, just let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 15 to 20% discount off of your room stay at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, and beautiful St. Pete Beach. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace. 50 rooms. It's a small boutique-style hotel on the Intercoastal Waterway. You've got expansive luxury suites overlooking the Intercoastal. You've got rooftop yoga on the weekends, and the Castile restaurant is amazing. The excellent food and awesome team over there as well at the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, and we always start off with a little personal development. We want to help you live a better life and give you that audible to call here. Peyton Manning helping us with that audible. And what we're talking about today is the ability to determine and attract success and prosperity in your life. And it all starts with directing your mind. Either you direct your mind or your mind directs you. And the basic stage of your mind and the base setting is to be in a survival mode. So what happens is we're reaching out and we're thinking about things from a reticular activation system in our brain. We're thinking about if we're not directing it in a positive way, our mind is going to attract things that we're worrying about, things that we're saying on a constant basis. So many times you hear people say, I can't dance, or I'm not good at names, I can't remember names. And when you say it the first time, it's a small thread, but when you say it over and over, it turns into a band of steel. And you want to be really careful about what you're focusing on. The power of focus. What we focus on expands in our life, and whether it's positive or not, it's going to come into your life even more. So you have two states that you can live in, either a beautiful state, which is described by being in a peak high energy state, and a lot of times I think about it from a football perspective. One of the peak states you can be in is when that initial kickoff's coming down. You're about to receive the kickoff. I was a kick returner, so that football's coming down. You're so excited to start the game and just kind of burst through the line and maybe run it back for a touchdown. And then the opposite state is a suffering state. What Tony Robbins talks about is negative emotions. You're sad, you're angry, you're desperate, you've got anxiety, you're stressed. So when you're in a beautiful state, the contrast is things come creatively. You're creative. Things come easier to you. Kind of like they used to say Michael Jordan was in that zone, right? He would make the shots more easy. He'd hit 50-plus points a game. And when on the opposite side is when you're in a suffering state, you can't make decisions. You're quick to snap at people, your kids, whatever it might be. So what you want to do is identify which state you're in and ultimately become aware of your surroundings, become aware of what the stimulus and response is, right? So the sooner you can snap out of it, return to an attitude of gratitude, focus on things that you're appreciative of, then that's going to help you attract success and prosperity. And here's a great quote by Gandhi: "A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks about, he becomes." All right, so that's your consumer tip here. That's your 2-minute drill, the audible from the Quarterback Show. Let's go ahead and jump into this great content. James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. What are you seeing out there in the business space, man?
Well, as I said before, right now, we and thank you, Brandon, for that great introduction. One of the key things that are going on is that we have all the baby boomers retiring. A lot of clientele right now, 50s, 60s, 70s. They're saying, look, we want to get out. It's a good time to move on. So we're getting a lot of them to go ahead and basically sell their businesses. Some of them are underpricing their businesses right now for the specific goal that they just want to move on with their lives. They see that the time is limited, and they just said, look, a lot of times they have already plans. Unfortunately, what I would say to them is you have to give us some time also. Remember, a business is not like a house. It takes normally about 10 months to sell a business.
Right.
So when people say, how long has this been on the market? I'm like, look, businesses are a lot different because most people have to put a good exit strategy. Some people plan 2 years. Some people plan 5 months. When we plan 5 months, we do work and we try to do the best that we can. But it is an average of 10 months. I do remember recently I had a client that we had worked. He wanted to go ahead and sell, and he lowered the price to sell it a lot faster. Unfortunately, that is what happens in the market. And immediately, within 2 days, we had it sold. So the gentleman said, well, maybe I asked for too little. I'm like, well, at that particular point, I was telling him, your goal really is to get out. If we were to go ahead and do anything differently, you could stay longer. But your real goal is now is just he already had plans to leave the country on a 4-month cruise. I mean, he's got great ideas. I mean, he's so looking forward to retirement. So I was telling him, look, we already have the buyer, everything's set up. We might as well move forward, to make sure that your goal is attained, which is to move on with your wife and go on traveling all over the world. I think that was something that actually you gave me a book by Tony Robbins, and it explained one of those things. Just saying, look, when someone is presented with this type of decision, tell them, look, what is it ultimately you want to do? Do you want to stay here and make maybe a few extra $1,000s, or do you want to ultimately move on with your life? Is what your ultimate dream goal is, your focus?
Right.
And Tony Robbins expressed it that way. Let that big rock just be lifted off of your shoulders. So, and that's what his goal was, to move on. So he decided, okay, let's sell it. Let's get that done. But also, like you said, real estate is going up, property value is going up, and people are right now selling to make sure that they get the most out of their dollars, and they're retiring, which means money is circulating into the economy. Things are going well. I was talking to another gentleman yesterday that's thinking of buying a business here in Florida, and I've never seen a rent this high, by the way. Maybe you have. I've never seen rent on a business of a small scale, only 3,000 square feet, for $60,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, wow. That is a lot. And I called and I said, hey, is this correct? And they're like, no, that is correct. But this location is in a corner area that I mean, over 100,000 people walk by there daily. I mean, it's just it is such a big marketable area. So because of the size, because of what they sell, that is the justified rent. Now, the rent still only accumulates to basically 0.25% of the gross sales. The place makes over $2 million a year, so it
Yeah.
is justified. But I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, that's $700 and some $1,000 a year in rent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you think about it this way: the rent is what you would purchase a decent car for.
Right.
You know, I mean, $60,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it just blew my mind. I would say right now, but I definitely like to talk about that in more detail in the next segment.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump back into that. Also, we're going to bring in Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine, and Dr. Jenny Wilkins into the conversation as well, owner of AgeVital Pharmacy, Research and Wellness. Lots of great content up to come. Coming up with that. And also want to give a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. And we got an all-star lineup for you here. We want to make sure you engage us. How can you engage? There's multiple ways. ConsumerQB.com. Click on the contact form or submit the form online at ConsumerQB.com or our hotline 670-7372. 670-7372. That's a Tampa number. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Tampa Bay Business Journal, and others, recognized for innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. And we are in need of inventory. We're still in a low inventory market here in Tampa Bay, so we'd love to offer you a free comparable market analysis. If you'd like to know what the value of your home is, and a lot of times it's your most important, your number one asset, and the amount of foreclosure activity, what's going on with short sale activity in your neighborhood, just shoot us a call or a text at our hotline. Just text the word value, and we're going to do a comparable market analysis, a $500 value for you for free for the first 5 listeners to 813-670-7372. Text value now for that free comparable market analysis, 670-REQB. That is our hotline. We want to help you win in any marketplace. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. This is Zero Rue de Laux. It's in Tarpon Springs. It's 34688 area overlooking the Lake Tarpon here, and it's a fabulous opportunity to build your dream home. 1.13 acres MOL, and the exquisite Chateau de Laux. $299,000 just reduced this property, and it's a great opportunity to build. Also, a commercial opportunity in Pinellas County. You've got 200 feet of frontage within the city of Largo here at 1401 Seminole Boulevard in Largo. $460,000 just reduced as well. It's a corner vacant land parcel, approximately 0.82 acres, and it's a great opportunity to buy here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, in studio with me today, James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. He's a business broker, as well as Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine, and she's a blogger as well, helping me write my next book here. And Dr. Jenny Wilkins, owner of AgeVital Pharmacy Research and Wellness. So we're going to go back to James. Let's talk about that story you were alluding to, James.
Yes, before I did that, I do want to go ahead and mention a couple of listings also that I have. One is a phenomenal restaurant in Brandon right now. It's a pizzeria. It's a gorgeous place, great location, over 80,000 vehicles drive by there daily, and it's for $215. They net about $65,000. If you want to know more about that, definitely call the show and let me know. I'd love to talk to you about that. Also, I have an asset sale in Clearwater. Asset sales, by the way, when someone says that, basically means it's just a sale of the whatever is in the building. That can be removed from the building without destroying any structure.
Right.
And by definition, normally these are sometimes restaurants, sometimes any type of store that the person has invested a lot of money, but something didn't go well. There's no goodwill there, so they're selling it. And I'm selling one particularly. They have over $70,000 worth of assets, and they're asking for $49,000 right now on that. And again, I also have one. This is a unique business, not really a business, it's a property in South America. I have somebody who wants to sell a small 60-acre property with a cabin in the mountains in South America, and it is actually about 3 miles away from the center of the earth. It's really unique.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, okay. It's really unique. But it's 3 miles away from the center of the earth, and it's a beautiful place. There's all things you can do. It's livestock. The gentleman actually recently passed away. He owned it for 30 years. That was his retirement place, and he was actually from Wisconsin, and he wanted to move somewhere in South America, and this is where he decided to relocate, and he passed away. So his family's just like, look, we don't want to have it anymore. Beautiful location's only for sale for $400,000. 60 acres, you can do anything with the land possible. Grazing, the livestock, they grow Brahman, they grow brown Swiss, they have all type of horses and so forth. What I wanted to get back to actually is that when you work with somebody, and this is critical, especially when you work in business, even in any type of business, there's a reason why people like ourselves or yourself, Brandon, exist, is because we're professionals and we know what we're doing. I had a deal with somebody who came, who immigrated to this country about 10 years ago, from England, and they were taken advantage of. And I tried to explain to them, I'm sorry that happened. Now they're very, very meticulous when dealing with anybody, and they're very cautious. So when they were speaking with me about, purchasing a business, they didn't understand what I did. So they were like, well, I'm not just going to give you money. And I'm like, I don't take money. It doesn't work that way. When we're buying a business, an attorney deals with that. And they told me their story. And what I try to explain is, do work with a professional, do your research, find out who this person is, because these people eventually they did that. Now they feel comfortable. Now they understand the process. They know how things work. The same thing like if somebody were going ahead and deal with you, Brendan, they would tell you, you know what, I don't know who you are. Look me up on the internet. You know, I mean, this is things that we're not going to put our faces anywhere if we're going to be doing something that is not legal or anything that may be unscrupulous. I mean, we're faces of the community.
Yep.
And that's why we do things like this, to help the community and make sure that we address everyone's concerns. And at times, we don't get paid for it.
Yep.
You know, we focus on the person. You know, that's one of the things that you do. If you go out to a meeting, you talk to them, you spend about 2 hours with them, we're not making anything on that. We'll just walk away and say, you know what, we were able to help. But I wanted to say that because these two people that are buying a business now from me, they were so cautious that the gentleman, when he wired the funds, he took a picture of me. And I told him, look, sir, you really don't have to do that. You can look me up online. There's a million pictures of me.
Yeah.
But it was just the sad, that they had dealt with such a bad experience.
Yeah, they've been burnt before.
Exactly.
A lot of people have.
And exactly. And I tell them, do your homework, work with people. And if you're going to sell a business also, I would tell you, listen to counsel first of someone explaining to you what the process is. I mean, one gentleman recently, he's going to list a business with me, and he told me the price that they had offered him the business for. I told him, your business is worth so much more than that. In assets alone, like asset sale. And again, he never gone out and actually, investigated. So I would tell you, do that. Look for the person that's best to represent you and make sure that, that they have your best interest in mind.
Yeah, that's important.
Exactly. And of course, the most basic things that I keep on preaching every time is, look, when you're going to sell a business, get your financials in order. Get all your finances, tax records, everything, and make sure that you have a clear view. Because think about this. A buyer is going to come in and they know nothing, okay, of you. They know nothing of – they're just buying a business by what the figures look like.
Yep.
Okay? You need to be able to show a good – presentation of your business and be able to say, look, this is what my livelihood has been. I've worked very hard, and this is why this is worth this much. And be clear.
Got to be able to prove it and show exactly what you're looking to do, what the business has earned. It's important. James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, best in the business, and I want to remind you as well, all of our expert contributors, their contact information is on our website, consumerqb.com. Click on the expert contributors tab. You can see all James's contact information, phone numbers, and emails. And let's go to Candace Smith now, Fatabulous Magazine. So a lot of good things happening, Candace.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me back. We've been working on the book.
Yes.
I'm a ghostwriter, and I'm basically hired to tell your story or write about your content. And it's been awesome. I love every week I look forward to our meetings.
Oh, that's great.
I learned so much, so I'm excited about what your next step is. I know some people may not know what a ghostwriter is, but it's basically a person that writes a book for someone, and it goes a little further than that. There are ghostwriters for music, there are ghostwriters for speeches, people that do public speaking, advertisement, people come in and do content or whatever.
Copywriters.
Yes. So
business plans.
Yes, exactly. I've even done some resumes.
Yeah, there you go.
For some people. So I recognized that before I met you, I had not actually done exactly that, but I had been doing it for so long in other areas or whatever. So this has just been taking it to the next level and the next step. And since I've worked with a few other people, and one thing I can say is you always have your content and you're very articulate.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Because some people, they have a great story, but they may not be able to express it in the right way, or it's like I have to dig it out of them and pull out the information and put it together. Okay, I know I want to talk about this time I lived in Mississippi because I had such a great adventure or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a good story. They're just not writers. They're just not the
Yeah.
person that's able to sit down, or they're busy like Brandon, who don't have time to sit down and write a book or whatever. So that's where I come in.
Yeah, and I love the idea. We set aside about an hour a week. Wednesday mornings, we make that call. We have a conference call, and by taking those small steps every week, within another 4, 5, 6 weeks, we're going to have another awesome book that we're going to be able to talk about. By the way, here's my last book. I'm holding it up if you're watching our TV show version. It's on it's Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves, and it's available on Amazon. We also have our Consumer Advocate Playbook, the first book that we wrote that's on Amazon as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, Candace, and looking forward to delivering this content. We want to help entrepreneurs. We want to help everyone from single parents that may be down. They might be looking for motivation. Folks that are maybe organizing their nonprofit organization. They're looking for motivation for their groups. And as I'm an MC, keynote speaker, so I love to do that and help others. That's the number one goal of this show, is to help other people. It's the number one goal of our mission with any of our companies, is to help other people understand and help motivate and inspire and entertain and engage. And that's the goal of the show. So when we come back, we're going to talk more with Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine. We're going to bring Dr. Jenny Wilkins into the conversation as well, owner of AgeVital Pharmacy Research and Wellness. We're going to talk about bioidentical hormones versus synthetic hormones and some of the different types of effects with that. So stay with us. Do not touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody. I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team in the University of South Florida, the South Florida Bulls, longtime quarterback on my teams, and now we're quarterbacking transactions for clients. We're quarterbacking introductions to our 80-plus show partners now, helping connect folks with CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, insurance experts, health and nutrition experts. So many ways that we can help you, but you've got to reach out. You've got to engage us at our hotline. It's 813-670-7372. Just shoot us a call or a text to our hotline, 813-670-REQB. And also consumerqb.com is our website, blog site, a plethora of information available there. You can see links to all of our expert contributors. You can hear past shows. You can see our real estate listings as well, more about our Platinum MVP Realty. And we're giving a big shout out right now to Healthy Gourmet, Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet, organic veggies, natural proteins, awesome food delivered fresh 3 times a week. Meal plan starting at $90 a week. Optimal fuel, optimal performance. Healthy Gourmet. Big shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet, and we'd love for you to reach out to her. And what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? We're going to talk more with Dr. Jenny Wilkins about that as well, health related, and more from our expert contributor James Lascano in the lightning round. But right now we're talking with Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine. She's a blogger, she's a ghostwriter, and she can help you get your ideas out there. So what else are you seeing out there, Candace?
I'm actually working with a few people. One lady, she recently left her hometown in California, moved all the way to Atlanta, and her topic is more personal. I have to practice confidentiality, so I won't go too far in it, but I've just run into a lot of different scenarios. You know, she's more of a talker, so she's like, I have a lot to say, but I don't want to sit down. I can't sit down long enough to write a book. So that's another place where I come in. You talk and I take notes, and then I go back and write it. And then when I submit it to her, she's like, oh my God, this is what you do. I talk, you know, and you write, and we just work together as a team, and it's very gratifying. You mentioned helping people, and I love that. I love being able to talk to people and hear their stories and just put it out there. I know a lot of people maybe don't really know so much about blogging, but it's just opened a lot of doors of opportunities, even for people with businesses where they're looking for additional advertisements or whatever. A lot of times sharing personal stories, like, okay, even if you were trying to get a sale for a house, you know, what did you all have to go through, or even the story that you shared could go on a blog, and it's something that someone else who has also experienced the same thing needs to know. So different things like that is something that I found that maybe pushes people to the next step in closing a sale.
Blogging, podcasting are 2 great mediums for that. Writing that book, taking that book to an appointment with you when you're in a sales meeting and handing it to that prospect, it works great for me for the last few years. And it's one more differentiation factor that allows you. And another thing, too, that I want to praise you for, Candace, is I love how you will take an idea and we'll say, hey, let's research about that. Let's look on the Harvard Business Review. Let's see where we can find. So you're great at going in there, pulling out some statistics that back up the story. You know, I love to talk about Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard, who did a 50-year study about the socioeconomic conditions and how people move up that economic ladder. And the number one factor of all those years was long time perspective. You know, if you look at it, and you can see it in the idea of a drunk or a drug addict, they're just looking for that next fix or that next drink. But when you think about the successful PhD, the successful doctor that has put in all this work, all this time, effort, and energy to get that degree, now they've got a 40, 50-year career of elevated earnings based on what they've done. So I love to have that side of it. Let's go ahead and speaking of doctors, let's go ahead and bring our own Dr. Jenny Wilkins here into the conversation. So, yeah, a lot of good things happening.
There's always good things happening in the medical field. I'm the giver of health. I'm getting a lot of patients and a lot of patients are coming to me and telling me, I don't have a doctor. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a doctor? That's terrible. They don't even have family practitioners or OBGYNs. They're scared to death of going to the mainstream practitioners.
Right.
And a lot of them should be, because a lot of the mainstream doctors are just Band-Aid for boo-boo prescribers.
That's right.
That's what I like to call it. The pink pill, the purple pill, the yellow pill, the that pill.
Yep.
Here you go. Come back in 6 weeks and I'll give you another one that gives you even more side effects than the first one gave you, but it'll counterbalance the original side effect.
Right.
Wow.
And then they're like, what do I do? How do I go to a doctor and tell them, okay, I want to be treated like I'm biochemically unique as opposed to just a big pharmaceutical med.
Right.
I'm not deficient in armor thyroid. I'm not deficient in bull testosterone. I'm not deficient in Premarin, which is derived from a pregnant horse's urine, which is terrible.
Wow.
And you have all these menopausal women now, where they're having the hot flashes, they're going through the night sweats, they're having the vaginal dryness, they're irritable, they're moody, they can't sleep, they're sweating, they're having, all their hair's falling out. And then the men, they're having the erectile dysfunction, they're losing their muscle. Some of them even get hoarse voices, or their bone density starts to deplete. Cholesterol goes through the roof, high blood pressure. So it's like, how do you tell, how do you treat yourself naturally? Well, there is such a thing as bioidentical hormones. You have what's called biochemistry of the body, and you can test for real chemicals and put those real chemicals back in your body.
Right.
Bioidentical hormones is one of the huge ones because they're actually cancer protective as opposed to the synthetic hormones that actually are cancer causing. A lot of the cancers, that are going around are from females that are taking synthetic hormones to begin with. All the, the WHI, the Women's Health Initiative, was this flawed study where they did, synthetic hormones on a group of females that were already in their 70s and 80s. And then they said, oh, look, all these hormones cause cancer. It's like, no, the hormones you gave those women cause cancers because they don't belong in the body to begin with.
It's a flawed study.
It was a flawed study. Right. And a lot of people don't know that because you have the big pharmaceutical companies just pushing their agenda, trying to, they want the consumer to be sick, fat, obese, demented, psychotic, inflamed, diabetic, and cancered. And so they want to push, the pills. There's no money in making people healthy, right? So why push for giving health? Yeah, it's a whole system.
So does that lead to CBDs? Is that, you got CBDs, you've also got the, like you explained last time on the show, the natural occurring growth hormones, right? Made from a yam?
Yep. Well, bioidentical hormones are from soy or yams. So that's like a sweet potato. So sweet potatoes, you're getting hormones from that. But now you have genetically modified crops too. So now the consumer is no longer pulling the essential hormones or the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes from their foods because 90% of our crops are genetically modified. So then we have to go and create.
Is it really that high? 90%?
90%. Yeah,
Wow.
It is. It's terrible. You just go to the grocery store, Brandon, and look for a grape with seeds in it.
Right.
I challenge you.
Right.
Go find a grape with a seed in it.
Right, because they're all seedless now.
They're all seedless. So you can't even grow it. It's an abomination. So it's so hard to find, a Whole Foods like, oh my gosh, I found grapes with seeds in it. Yay, I can plant this and grow it. Or an apple with seeds, or oranges with seeds, or the watermelon with seeds. I'm going to the store with my children trying to find watermelons. I'm like, they're all seedless. And then even some grocery stores that say it's organic, but it still has no seeds in it. So it's still from a GMO. Just because something says it's organic doesn't mean that it's natural to your body.
Right.
It was still genetically altered in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Dr. Jenny Wilkins, owner, AgeVital Pharmacy, Research and Wellness here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. A wealth of knowledge. And with the show, too, we talk about physical health, but, today we're talking more about your physical health. And it's not the traditional methods. This is a different – we want you to get outside that conventional box. We want you to think about these alternative methods. And Dr. Jenny Wilkins, if you want to engage her, any questions that you have, if you'd like more information, just shoot us a quick text message to our hotline, 813-670-7372. If you have questions about bioidentical hormones versus synthetic hormones, or maybe CBDs, cannabis, other ways that you can look at alternative methods, reach out to our hotline, 813-670-7372. That's REQB. So, yeah, go ahead, continue, Jenny.
And look at the weight epidemic. You have 88% of the consumers in the United States are obese. That's a horrifying stat.
Yeah.
I had friends from Germany come and visit, and we went to Disney World, and they were speaking German. They said, "Ach du lieber Gott, everyone is sehr fett. Oh my God." Right. And I said, "You're right." I said, "But they have no clue why. they're metabolically obese or why they're physically obese.
Right.
I said, and everything that they're eating. I said, this is the sad part. I said, because it's so simple to actually reprogram their metabolics by
Right.
testing for real chemicals that God intended to put in our body. You can
Right.
look for progesterone deficient, thyroid deficiency, testosterone deficiency, growth hormone deficiency, CBD deficiency, the endocannabinoid system. You can
Right.
look for vitamins, for minerals, for good bacteria. And then once you have an analysis of all of these metabolic testings,
Yep.
the body actually starts to heal itself. Treat the body like a car, and guess what? It'll start functioning like an optimal piece of machinery.
Yeah, exactly. And it really is a machine. I mean, you've got to feed it the proper ingredients. You got to look at it, reprogramming the mind, reprogramming the body. And that's what we're going to talk about in the coming segment as well with Dr. Jenny Wilkins, owner, AgeVital Pharmacy, Research and Wellness, and more from our expert contributors. We're going to go into our lightning round, give you some top tips, things to do, nuggets of advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, giving a shout out to Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Hannah and her team over at Smart Move Moving and Storage, as well as our security partner, Source One Solutions. Robert Hessel and his team utilize Honeywell technology to protect your home or office. Source One Solutions, Robert Hessel and his team do a great job. They're security experts here in the Tampa Bay market. I want to remind you our hotline, 813-670-7372. Our hotline number is 813-670-7372.
Welcome to my house.
ConsumerQB.com. All of our expert contributors are listed at ConsumerQB.com, and we are in studio here live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida, talking with Dr. Jenny Wilkins. She's the owner of AgeVital Pharmacy Research and Wellness. And in the lightning round, we're going to hear more from James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, and Candace Smith, Fantabulous Magazine. So, Dr. Jenny, what else are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing a lot of depressed people that can't sleep. Yeah. That's a big issue, and that's also hormonally related, as opposed to taking like Lunesta, and then you're taking all these toxic neuropsychiatric medications that damages the brain, the prefrontal cortex of the brain, the basal ganglia. So it actually degenerates neurological functions, as opposed to telling the body, oh, produce that melatonin, produce that 5-HIA, produce that GABA. I mean, these are real chemicals you can test for, and then once you give them the client, the patient, that they start to sleep on their own. So they're actually having dreams again. People that don't dream. Yeah. I know a lot of consumers listening out there going, I'm not dreaming. And when you're thinking about it, it's like, when's the last time that I dreamed? So if you're not dreaming.
Or remember the dream.
Right, or you don't remember the dream. It's really important. I don't think, every single night I dream. I mean, dreaming helps you to be spiritual. It helps you to, have drive for life, to actually, thinking. Someone that just feels down and depressed, usually they're not dreaming.
Napoleon Hill said you should never go to sleep at night without demanding of your subconscious mind your goals that you want to attain.
Oh, I love that, because it's so true. Yeah. I mean, my whole entire business was a dream. Yep. I'm thinking, how many people could be entrepreneurs? How many people can be successful if they were dreaming? Right. But they have, there is like no quality of life neurologically. So then they're depressed, and then they're hurting, and their bones hurt, and then they're gaining weight, and then they're getting acne, and then their marriages are failing. Just like a chemical cascade of different things. And then how many marriages I've saved personally from OBGYN sending me referrals where they're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this woman. I can't, she's about to divorce her husband, but it's hot flashes nights, but she's like happy, she's angry, she's laughing, and then she's crying. It's like us women, we go through it, certain times of the month. A lot of men can't understand that, but men go through it too. They have the testosterone rage, or the testosterone that converts into estrogen, and then they're very feminine-like. They start crying. But easy fixes. Vitamin B12 shots, amino acid therapy. Amino acids, the building blocks, everything really helps protect the brain. Progesterone therapy to sleep. L-glycine, an amino acid that helps regulate glucose, but also helps you sleep. Melatonin, but all chemicals. Again, it's all about testing. Testing is so simple: urine, saliva, blood. You can go to any lab test now. You don't even have to have a doctor go test your laboratory work these days. You need a doctor to interpret it. That's when you come to someone like me, and I can make sense of what things mean. But AgeVital, what we do, what my pharmacists do, we become advocates of the patient. Right. So when the patient doesn't have a doctor that's up to speed on what I'm doing, the chemical engineers, the biologists, the pharmacists, we're the ones that talk on the behalf of the patient to the doctor and talk to them, on a medical level, saying, hey, they want to go the natural route. They don't want to be prescribed garbage.
Right, exactly. And we talk about Steve Gunnan as well, Replenish IV Solutions. I go down there once a week or every other week or so, and you're the one that actually packs the bags, the Myers
the
cocktail,
IV bags,
the different types of cocktails.
I make them for hospitals. I make customized medications for animals, for like Blue Pearl. I make compounds. I make CBD compounds for cats, for dogs. I make customized vitamins for children, chewables, troches. But the IV bags for athletes, for people that are getting colds. So it's so crucial to make sure you're getting 100% bioavailable nutrition, nothing synthetic, like folic acid over the counter. There's no such thing as folic acid, people. And it's in everything. It's a poison. Or, synthetic B12, cyanocobalamin, cyanide cobalamin. How many people are taking cyanide pills in their multivitamin where it says cyanide? Look at your multivitamin. Go look at the B12. Really right. Is. If it starts with a C, you're taking a cyanide pill.
So, and I want to bring it up too is that you've got a big event coming up on the 16th of May. You're heading up to Washington D.C. Do you care to share anything about that? I mean, that's really
May
neat.
16th and 17th. I got invited by Congress to go speak before House and Senate and be an advocate for medical marijuana. I mean, it's the wild, wild west out there, Brandon. I mean, everything is like, it's so messy. Nobody really knows how to interpret the laws. Doctors are scared to even recommend, medical cannabis to the consumer, even though, there's more studies and we have more, CBD receptors in our body than we do serotonin. So we have more receptors in our body than the feel-good neurotransmitter. And so that CBD is what actually activates that feel-good neurotransmitter. Wow. But yeah, doctors, pharmacists, everybody's scared. And the people that are running the dispensaries are very unqualified people. Mm-hmm. They're not qualified to be running. They're not medical anythings. They're just people that found investors and then decided to, grow marijuana. And geneticists claiming to be scientists, I've been growing pot in my garage since I was 14, so that makes me qualified. It's like, no, you don't know how it's going to, how is it going to interact with the medications? What is the half-life metabolism? Are you taking into account the gut? There's thousands and thousands of different, strains of cannabinoids in our body, and everybody's biochemically unique. So you have to make sure that you're isolating per each individual. Yeah, customizing it. Yeah. Customized marijuana therapy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And if you just join us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Dr. Jenny Wilkins here, owner of AgeVital Pharmacy Research and Wellness, bioidentical hormones, synthetic hormones, cannabis opportunities for CBDs, and just different ways that you can get off of that, pharmaceutical what the pharmaceutical industry likes to push is the legal drug dealing, basically. And so we'd love for you to engage us. You got our website, consumerqb.com. Let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round. Lightning round. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. James Lascano.
Thank you, Brandon. Of course, as always, I'll keep on preaching this as long as the day is long. Get your financials in order. When you want to go ahead and sell, start doing your homework. Look at your business industry. Look at some people. I had a gentleman the other day bring me a form that he got online that basically told him his business was worth $300,000. When I looked at the business worth maybe $40,000. I told him, look, these things, they don't take in consideration what's going on in the market. I mean, the specifics of your business by itself. They're just looking at overall something. It's like someone going online and trying to get a valuation on a house when you know what's going on in this market. You live here. So go ahead and do that. Then talk to a professional and tell them, look, this is what the business value is at. Also have an idea of what you want to walk away with. And then, of course, when you speak to someone like myself or call me, I'll be able to tell you, look, this is what the business is worth. It's going to take this long to sell it, and it's going to take this amount of time to do everything that we need to make sure we do it properly, correctly, and of course confidentiality is a key thing. That's what we focus on. And also I would tell anybody, if you're going to work with anyone, make sure that at the least they're part of the BBF, which is the Business Brokers of Florida.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, great nuggets of advice from James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, business broker. And top nuggets of advice there, Candace Smith.
Tell your story. If you want to tell your story, if you want to start that blog, you've been thinking about it, you've been putting it off, I can help you do that.
Absolutely. Love it. Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Dr. Jenny.
Avoid produce that does not have seeds in it. Okay, if it's a seedless anything, don't eat it. It has absolutely no nutritional value, and then you're not treating your body well. And ask your doctor if what they're prescribing you is something that they can test in the system. Am I deficient in that? And then if they look at you and go, no, okay, then tell me what I am deficient in, do some testing and investigative work, and treat me naturally. And if you have any questions, that's when you call me, AgeVital Pharmacy.
Yeah, absolutely. All the contact information is on our website, consumerqb.com. And that's a great point is, a lot of these are not naturally occurring. They're not in the body, and it's something that also when you think about the pesticides used in the growing of the different types of fruits and vegetables, it's more important, for example, to buy organic strawberries or blueberries because they've got such a thin skin, a layer of skin, than it might be to buy a banana because it's a thicker skin. So that if you do look to save a little bit of money, I understand everyone's on a budget. That is one thing I've heard. Is that do you concur?
Yeah, that sounds like a good scientific analysis.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and then the colors, the brighter the colors, the more antioxidants as it has.
Yeah.
Yep. So eat really bright colored fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deeper the color. So pick green peppers over yellow peppers, or pick a really bright yellow banana over. And so then you'll know when
Eat
to
from
eat
the
it.
rainbow too.
Right,
That's what they
colors
say,
of the
right?
rainbow.
Eat from the
Exactly.
rainbow. I want to thank all of our expert contributors. Another great show. All of the folks behind the scenes making this thing happen, and all of our listeners out there and viewers of our show. We want to engage you. ConsumerQB.com and our hotline 670-7372 670-REQB. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up leftover food you may have in your pantry, your fridge, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, and handing it to that person that you see in need. And be a force for good in the community. You can also volunteer. If it's not monetary, you can go and volunteer your time. That's something big that you want to do. And when you give, that's the meaning of life. And Winston Churchill has a great quote: "You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give." Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show right here on iHeartRadio. And please check out RealEstateRadioTampa.com to buy or sell real estate and see all of his expert contributors. Thank you.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit RealEstateRadioTampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.